what are the goals that I had set in 2019 and how they go and how they didn't go. So I think first is NBK. NBK has grown. We have better processes in place. I've got people assigned to very specific things, and I feel very good about that. The growth has been solid in the right direction. I feel like we've got a good camaraderie and cohesiveness happening in the members, which is so important. And we're really changing lives, which is my number two priority. Number one is we got to be profitable because I want to stay open for a long time. But we're all sorry, bike's going by here. So number one is priority is the profit, so we can stay open. But number two is the impact, and we've had people work together in our community that have now changed professions. They have learned and gained opportunity by being in it with NBK. We have had weddings happen this year, babies get born. People have created a lot of art, and I've seen a lot of growth. We started training with the police department and having an impact one human at a time, and now we're really working at the unit level, and it's proving out to be very effective for their transition into their work as officers. And I think that's super big, right? That's got an impact at scale, which I'm really humbled by, really motivated to make sure that we do a great job, and also see a chance that if we do this right, we could really spread this knowledge and impact well beyond our current location, and how we do that is part of 2020. So NBK, I am happy with our growth. I'm happy with how we're operating. I do want to see more rigors and systems in 2020. I think that is going to be a great simplifier for what we're doing long term, and I think it has the potential to be kind of a model for how I'll do other things that I'm chasing. So MBK, I think I feel 2019 was a great year. We had to make some big adjustments and had to change and kick people out and make all those culture fixes, but it has been so good ever since that it is by far was the right decisions, and to remove that out of the community has just been the best. So MBK, great. My personal fitness, as I said, I had hopes and goals for this year, and they took a back seat after the injury, and I've just been focusing on mental health and physical health, and that has really turned around since July, and it just keeps getting better and better. So that's exactly what we want there, and we're seeing a nice body's recomposition stages right now are going quite well. Losing the right weight, gaining the right strength. So all in all, a great equation. I am a little concerned still about how my blood panels are and how my body is resting and recovering and having that peace. And that's something that I'm really looking to make an impact on in 2020. And so I think a few of those pillars has to do with being social. It doesn't have to be the old social of everybody hitting the clubs and the bars, but it needs to have an element of social and human engagement. People that are older than me, at my age, and younger than me. So those dynamics, I think each one brings a very special contribution to any individual. Some of the folks that are older give you a reference point, knowledge, and generally great to be around. People my age help me bond with people that are struggling with the same struggles. And while we might see that struggle across different ages, it sure is refreshing to talk to people that at your age that are in the same place or ahead of you or behind you, and can kind of be the people you can build on as a team and partnership. And younger, always good to have youth. Always good to have youth. Just that's as simple as that. Just happiness, youth, and just bringing fresh new ideas, optimism, positivity. All of that's so important. So, social, number one. Number two, I need to fix how my body's resting and recovering. And I don't know if that is, taking 2-3 times a month and, escaping and, going to some of the woods or on the beach or in a farm or whatever it is. But the most recovered, at peace and at rest my body has been during those situations where I was in those environments of the last 6 months, and like off the charts, right? As in 100% better body readings. So I need to dig into that, and I need to take steps so that I can continue my health. And I want to make sure I do it in a way that is not just acquiring things. Like I don't want to just buy anything fancy to fix this problem. I want to have something that serves me, but potentially could serve others in a positive way. So that's number two. So social, rest and recovery, and I think if I had to put a third down, I think it would be focused, meaning that I want to see myself use 2020 to double down on my strengths and focus on speed and execution, but massive execution, not dabbling, massive. And so then it'll play into the big ideas that I want to execute in 2020. But that's will help me, I think, free up time. It'll help me have less anxiety because I won't be thinking about how am I going to get this other stuff done when I'm busy with this. I think it'll be a big unlock for me. So those are 3 things I want to focus on to help me achieve my health. Now in 2019, I wanted to create a podcast, and I made one, and I recorded and published 25-30 recordings. Now I have done nothing to market it. Is that because I don't know why? So I need to unlock that. I enjoy the podcast format. I enjoy creating. I also want to create. So one, we created the podcast. That went excellent. I really enjoyed that. I got great content out there, but it's just me. So I think looking at 2019, I think one, why didn't I really push listeners towards my podcast? And I think it might be maybe it's fear of judgment. What people might say of kind of the, how I spoke, what I spoke about, was there any value? I think that fear of judgment is what held me back in 2019. I feel like I've gotten better at removing that pressure from a lot of my creative work, but there's work to be done there. So 2020 is going to be a focus on eliminating other people's judgment and my own from my creative work, and doing everything I can to share and extend what I am creating. So the second part there on the podcast is I had a vision of not only creating this type of content, I wanted to create another type of podcast. I mean, I even set it up, like it's fully set up, but never did one recording on it. And I wanted to speak on the cybersecurity industry. And then I realized as this year went through, I never recorded anything. And so I kept retitling, am I doing the cyber industry? So is that technology? Is that digital transformation? Am I afraid I'm going to get boxed in? Do I want to talk about firewalls? Do I want to talk about, what people are, there's just so many different categories I started going into that confusion led me to inaction. Meaning that I wanted to be super niche. I thought it'd be awesome, one, as a personal brand, as an executive, to interview people and talk on this topic. But at the same time, every time I started talking about that topic, I started falling asleep. Now, this was during my poor health window of time, so that could certainly be a diagnosis there. But maybe because I was thinking, when I think cyber industry, I was thinking kind of my old 2000s, 1999 kind of period where I was teaching and training on bits and bytes around firewalls and how it all passes through. And that's really not what I do now, right? I design, define the strategy and create a pathway using these incredible technologies in the cloud, these IoT endpoints across millions of devices and building systems, and just this pretty robust technology, right? So when I think cyber, I'm thinking about, that's what I'm doing day in and day out. I thought that would be super valuable to share. Whenever I started designing the cyber podcast, I kept going back to firewalls, bits and bytes. So I definitely did not achieve my results that I wanted for that second topic of a podcast, because I simply kept focusing on the bits and bytes, and I could never get myself motivated to create. There's an idea, obviously, maybe the 2020 hack is that podcast is a recap of lessons from the week and whatever it is, or I create an interview show. I'm yawning like just thinking about it. Ugh. Why? Why does this topic do this to me? I don't have a good answer. Alright, so in the cyber industry, one, we might have to put it on ice until we figure out what are we going to do that's exciting, cutting edge, and will serve not only me, but others that listen to it. One thing, that idea that I did have at the end of this year was to create a podcast around not simply what was ever on my mind, but to create a series on areas that maybe I didn't know a lot about or was desperate to learn a lot about, and then I could create a series around that technology by interviewing people that were super deep in it, right? So when I'm dealing with heart rate variability, I would interview 2-4 dozen people on heart rate variability, and that would be like, I would learn from it, and I would create the content and share that with the world, and anybody who wants to know about that will be able to benefit. So that's something that I'm thinking about as a hack, given how my passions, I go through a range of areas and I do super deep dives into them. I think applying that and then calling on these experts will be super exciting. So for 2020, kind of maybe redialing my goal here, instead of trying to create all this myriad of shows around cyber and many things that aren't giving me joy in my heart, I will do a series of discovery around things that have caught my attention, and I will interview the greatest people I can that'll help dive into this topic, and that will be the podcast. So 2019, great on Our Best Self. terrible on sharing due to judgment, which I am going to personally improve on. And look at writing. Writing has been pretty good. Writing has been very dialed in. I have written about 130 articles ranging from kind of brain analysis to mindset to different challenges, tactical things, writing creatively. I have gotten some great traction on LinkedIn and on Medium around that writing, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been a great outlet. So 2019, I wanted to write. I had a vision of writing almost every morning, or at least 2-3 times a morning, every time I kept coming in to the coffee shop, and I did that exceptionally well. I really enjoy the content that I created, and I think I got in a nice habit. I started to lose my rhythm in writing for 2 reasons. One, the morning started to get super busy, which that I started having to do other work in that morning hours instead of allowing me to write. So that was damaging to the writing. And then number 2, about halfway through the year, I was using a book that was prompting me to kind of dig into my heart and write about things that I was feeling about and seeing, and that was the catalyst. So that created a large amount of content that wasn't anywhere else, and I thought it exposed an area that I really enjoyed diving into. But the last half became more business oriented, and so that's not really a reason as to why I lost the speed and the habit of producing content, but it is interesting when I look back, right, when I judge it. And I would say 2019 was a great year of writing, and what will make it better in 2020 is maybe again revisiting the prompts, finding more time, and or leveraging content such as video recordings to pull and use that to redraft and recreate more content. So as opposed to writing only for writing, maybe take something I've created audibly and use that as a writing. So I think I can do better there and get that crossover value that I've been creating uniquely in all these different spaces where, what I write maybe never becomes audio, when I do audio maybe never becomes written. And so I need to correct that, and I think that's a great opportunity in 2020 is to cross produce from those centers of production. I would love to make a book in 2020. To me, in order to do that, 2020 has to be the year of building community around this content. I.e., we're going to build an audience of people that are enjoying and appreciative of this content before the book is released. Now, I don't have a hard number of what makes a good number for the book to be released where this is going to be valuable, but I want to be very specific. I want to give value to people the whole year, and then I want to create a penultimate compilation that will give them more value and be worth purchasing as a book. I think great examples of this are those that are doing journaling, like around essentialism and minimalism, around stoicism, right? They are creating and focusing and having this community content, just like Brett Andresas, who, he literally focuses only on glute development, and as a result has put together a book specifically on it and built products specifically around it, right? So super niche, build a community, give value. That's the goal for 2020. So I want to create and write that serves in that space. The business side. So at this point, I have remote athletes, which I could do so much more if I extended invitations and information on how to work with those folks, because I do a tremendous job with my athletes. I have created a remote subscription service of just getting remote workouts. I created it October of last year, of 2018. Really pushed dollars behind it. Didn't get any results. And now we're back in December of the next year. And so it draws the question of, it's just another one of those training programs. And the niche I started with, I ended up ditching. Not because I tested it, but because I didn't put the work in. And now I'm playing with an idea of maybe I create with a super discount version and just see, right? We just go for like $1 a month or something with a 12-month and or 2 month or 2-year plan, whatever it is, right? But like $1 a month, and try to get 10,000 people to sign up in the first month. That's a massive push, but could be. So that would allow more programming and a greater reach, and we could build a lot from there. So the question is, I built this remote training program and sold it to nobody. Really didn't push very hard, honestly. So why did it not get results? There was supposed to be a human behind it, and there wasn't. I didn't do any marketing on it. I had the webpage up. I paid the hundreds of dollars to have all that operating, but I never did anything with it. It just got busy, and I let it get stale. So that's the state of that. So the question is, do we go after the niche that I feel that was the motivation to make this remote program? Or do I try for this super discount version, set up a brilliant automation, which will be a great experience, and I would really, obviously from a technical side, enjoy that experience. But do I create this super discount version, or do I just shut it all down? So if I shut it down, I will have more time for other pursuits. Another concept to think about is, I'm so good at building things. Going back to being a builder versus an operator as a strength. What if I began mentoring seriously, and I built a program that helped people achieve their business goals? Meaning, instead of me trying to be the salesman of this business all the time, why don't I build a program that serves these business owners? Something to think about. Haven't settled on that, but that's been on my mind. Another thing I started in 2019 is photography and video work. I've been crushing on the videos and photography for a lot this year. Just doubled down and got better equipment, and it has really given me a lot of joy, and really enjoy it, to the point where I did a lot of free work for some folks, and now I get to get paid to do the photography work that I'm enjoying, and it will help pay for the hobby. So I'm very grateful to be able to kind of revisit an old passion of mine. And yeah, so we're doing photography work. Does this mean I want to be a full-time photographer? No. This means I want to get a handful of clients that I love, and I want to do work for them that will better their business. And that's about it. I have no desire to be doing photo shoots all day, every day, a month. Like, I want to help create and share memories by how I see it through the lens, and as people are enjoying it, then we'll keep doing it. It's actually kind of fun. I actually even hired a friend to join me. Excuse me. a friend, Drew, who helped me on my first photo shoot, and not only did it give me confidence, but it allowed us to kind of play and hack together, and I super appreciated that. And I would definitely want to do that again, where we're pairing up, because I feel like we both learn a lot, and we gotta have a bit more fun on the creative angle. So I am curious that as we keep building kind of this photo side, maybe I'll create like a theater company of people that want to do photos and videos with me, and we post produce together and create a little, team machinery around that, so that way we can do it at scale. I think it's interesting. I really enjoy it. I think we can do a lot with it. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that hobby. I'm really glad I added that in 2019, and really excited about it continuing it in 2020. I think in the end, what I really want to achieve in 2020 is I want my ventures and pursuits to be numerous, fun, meaning I want to enjoy those that I select, and whether they succeed or fail, obviously we love them to succeed or fail, I want to do them in a way that I know it was the right way based on what I saw, and if the thesis is proven or not, then that's okay. I want to know that. So the other big question is NBK2. Where are we opening it, and how will we execute there? So this is my 2019-2020 review. Lots of things I'm very happy with and grateful for, and some areas that I am excited to take a different tack on. January is going to kick off very soon. It's literally right around the corner, and it's a big January for me. I am actually headed to Rwanda to work at the hospital. We've got a bunch of training and activities that I'm going to be leading around the country, and I'm super grateful for that. I'm going to do my best to share what I learn, what we do, so that others can benefit, and maybe and get other folks with similar mind to come through and maybe do the same thing, so that they're like, oh wow, I can do this. I think that's huge. And then we go to Wadapalooza. So I am thankful for how the year went. I think my big regret for how 2019 went is I got so busy that I did not get to spend time with friends and family, and it resulted in me being extremely alone in my pursuits. And 2020 is going to be the year of teamwork, partners, friendships, love, sadness, I'm sure, and that's what 2020 is going to be about. So I hope this helps you. I already feel better about sharing kind of the myriad of how 2019 went, and maybe some of these challenges will help you be so much better. So wish you well.